Almost forgot to tap in. Right. So. That was as an escalation. Very slight, you know? But, yeah. That was most certainly a thing. Holy crap. Let me take that up just slightly. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say other than just, yeah. Well, let's just keep it rolling, I guess. Oh, it's not like things can get worse. These question marks worry me. If I'm being honest, it's like, why are there endings? I want to click the endings thing, but I also don't. It's like, I don't want to know yet. I don't want to know. I'm just like, what is even happening? How is this? Where are we going? Where are we going anymore? Alright, well. Ay, ay, ay. Man, I cannot believe the how they did the twist for that. That was really, really good, to be honest. Okay. This said it's like 35-ish hours, so I'm hoping by the next week we'll be done, hopefully. And then we'll probably take a little break and then go to the next one. Okay, let's get going. The door to the cellar swung shut, thank Christ. You have fallen to the floor at some point, unable to bear the stench of blood. Maid stood beside you, arms wrapped around your shoulders. I don't trust you. I don't like what you're doing. May's voice was chillingly gentle. Yeah, I don't know about that. That was quite horrific, wasn't it? Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because all of those village people are just dead. None of them survived, let's be honest. Their bodies are probably down there. Let's not go down there. Yeah, that was quite horrific, wasn't it? Are you feeling unwell? You know, it's been a day, so kind of. Oh my, you're shaking. Yeah. Fear not, I assure you the beast will not come through that door. I would hope he's dead, but also considering how this house works, or I don't know how the house works, I don't believe you. I am here for you and I will continue to hold you for as long as you need to settle your nerves. Cool. Oh dear, you feel like you might freeze in my arms? Am I really that cold? Are you? I cannot tell my own temperature. I don't want to know what you are, do I? You wish to know what happened to Bestie after that? I could open the door once more and show you. I'm good. No thank you. But I have no intention of knowingly tossing you back into that den of horrors. You know what? That's nice. I appreciate that. He lost the rest of his humanity becoming Holy Beast. Yeah. But, to tell just a little more of the tale, it is my understanding that an entire village was ravaged shortly thereafter. Yeah. He was a bewitchingly talented swordsman. Not a single person living in that village could stand up to him. In the woman's memories you saw, he was a gentleman, yes. But even the mildest of men can change. Though personally I believe that without an element of monstrousness buried somewhere within, a man cannot become a beast, regardless of what may push him in that direction. Do you follow? Now tell me, have you remembered anything? Oh dear, I was afraid of that. I am a remarkably patient maid. I shall accompany you for as long as you require. So do please find your memories. I don't know if I want to. Now let's head to the next door. I don't know if I want to do that. Mansion's quite large, so hold my hand. We would not want to get separated. You and the maid travel down the dimly lit hall, passing by the mirror once again. This mirror is gonna be something. The light from the candle in the maid's hand was the only thing that reflected in it. The maid herself did not appear. Yeah, we don't appear either. However, just as you were about to avert your eyes, you thought you caught a glimpse of white hair. Huh? Huh? You heard a voice in the darkness, and when you turned to face the mirror again, the glass was the color of obsidian, as if it had been painted over. The voice seemed to be coming from beyond the mirror. The maid did not turn back, evidently having not heard anything. You... Hey, we actually have a choice, holy shit. Yeah, why not? Sure. Am I about to get got? You extend your hand toward the darkness overrunning the mirror. The second your hand brushed against the surface, the tips of your fingers sunk into it. Oh, cool, I'm gonna get got. The next time you realize your whole world was sinking into darkness, you could hear a voice. We're gonna get got. I am the witch. Giselle. It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, alright then. Who the f... This deep in the forest. Thank you very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I am looking for, yes. You could have said something. Oh well, I should get going, I guess. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I... Such a big door. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. I wonder if the window's open. Darn, not a hint of light. Hello? Is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. Please don't blow my goddamn ears out. I'd prefer that. Suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. What do we have here? Drapes. I see a little light beyond. Oh, it's the church. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel. Dang, hang on. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be. Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Huh? Michael. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but I did announce myself. Is this your mansion? It is. Alright, shit. Thank goodness. I was afraid it was deserted. I suspect you would have preferred if the house were abandoned. Oh, not at all. I'll be scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. I'm sorry. No ill will intended. But I think it could do with some light. That way you could see where you're walking. Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated. Not necessary. I make do perfectly well as things are. How can you see when it's so dark? I have an abundance of candles and oil for lamps. I am not in want of means of creating light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle. I didn't say anything. If you need light, you are free to leave. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food, then make your way to a larger town. I am no longer able to freely return to the city. I cannot go back there. Please don't chase me out. I see. And do you ask this of me aware how many people refer to this mansion? They say that a witch lives here. Not merely a witch. A cursed witch. If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction. You're worried for my well-being? No, don't ruin my house. Witch or not, my mind is made up. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be doing just fine, though. It's only a tale. I mean, I'd agree if it wasn't for what we've seen. The witch is real, very much so. It's not a legend nor a fairy tale. The witch. Morgana. Okay, that makes sense. Huh? The witch is me. Okay, so are we back here now? Huh. What was that? Giselle. Hold that thought. We're gonna stick that there. No reason at all. Oh my, what's the matter? Why are you just standing in place? There's nothing there. The maid did not seem to have seen anything. You made to ask her about the scene you had just witnessed. Huh? Okay. Oh, cool. Are we gonna go all Junji Ito? That's cool. You look like you've just seen a ghost. What's the matter? How about a little rest before we move? Yeah, that'd be nice. You do not wish to remain here. Still not fond of mirrors. Yes, yes, now let us be off. I too dearly wish for you to return to your old self as soon as possible. If you desire to push onward, then I could hardly be happier. Now follow me. I don't want to. I want to leave. I don't know where home is, but it's not here. You followed the maid's lead, returning to the living room. From there, you climbed a set of stairs, your hand sliding through the dust that had settled on the ebony railing. When you stepped outside of the mirror, the maid returned to normal. You had been on the verge of remembering something, but you were no longer in a position to be concerned about such things. For the chill in the air within the mansion seemed to have intensified. Cool. Wonderful. That's great. Sitting at one end of the long corridor, you ask the maid, when was the mansion built? Yeah. Second question, how do you feel about the name Arthur? I would imagine you know more about that than me, Master. Yes, I know. You have not yet regained your memories. I was simply teasing you. I've been a servant in this house for many, many years, but the truth is, I do not know everything about it. I don't believe you. All I know is that the mansion is cursed, and that it has brought misfortune upon its residents. Since times of old, I can make a conjecture as to when it began, but I believe you should figure it out yourself. Cool, thanks. There's no guarantee my perspective is the correct one. Let us proceed. You and the maid traveled down the dimly lit corridor. While the layout of the house was the same in the air as of the flaxen-haired boy and the beast, the bleak colorless gloom felt incredibly dreary. Yeah, probably shouldn't have looked in the mirror. On the wall partly down the hall hung a painting. The painting, which depicted a beautiful landscape, was oddly entrancing, but you do not have time to appreciate the artwork. Your hand in the maid, you pass by the painting. Before long, a door came in to side at the end of the... Cool. Alright, so what's next? Door's what I would like to show you next. Listen closely. Do you hear the voices? I don't want to. Lively but rough, energetic but coarse. What lies beyond this door is neither a period of elegance and abundance like the first, nor one of ruin and savagery like the second. Technology and culture had become quite developed. Cameras and photography had been invented. It was a time of great progress and many breakthroughs. And for that reason, those who lived in it were constantly seeking to try new things. The tale I'm about to tell you is one of a man who wagered everything on his ambitions. Jesus, I can't even read. I hope that what you see will stir something in your heart. Why? So you can I don't know about that. Now, through the door we go. Please don't let go of my hand. May push the door open. Colorful balls bounce atop a long, dark green table. One man dressed in black standing by the billiards table turned towards the door. The room was inundated with eye-watering cigar smoke, causing you to squeeze your eyes shut. Okay. I don't think I like where this is gonna go. I've got a feeling that this ain't gonna go well. 1869. I do like the UI changes as it goes. That's cool. Yeah, I like the music. Here, let me take it slightly down. That era was a rat race of innovation and development. The smoke was so thick you could hardly see more than a few feet ahead of you. I could compare it to a dense morning fog, but that might give impression of beauty, and of that there was little to be found in this haze. Do you see the silhouettes of several men in the smoky room? The one in the middle, the one looking in your direction, was the present master of the house. Jacopo? Okay. His name is Jacopo, and although he dressed in such fine attire, I sincerely doubt he understood how splendid the furnishings left in the mansion truly were. I am a faithful servant of this house, and I would not, for the life of me, dare speak ill of my master. However, this is a time long past. It's like, this fucker's dead, so I'm gonna talk shit. I imagine God would be so kind as to turn a blind eye to a little bit of honesty. Alright, I like that. I like that line. I was not terribly fond of my master back then. He had wavy hair the color of overdried tea leaves, a piercing gaze, an arrogant smile, and he wore a hat that made him look rather haughty. This fedora-wearing bitch. He put his trust only in money, renown, and rank. Of course. I really like the music for this area. He loved only the iron and steel that revolutionized so many industries. He had not the slightest bit of love or care for other people. At the very least, that is what I believed at the time. Take a look around the room. Jacopo had remodeled it into a recreation area. Billiards tables sat in the center of the room, and the downward-facing lights hanging from the ceiling were special made. The light shone upon the dark green stand like a stage. Cigars and bourbon-lined glass cases installed in place of bookshelves. The cases were always fully stocked, their contents available to partake of readily. At that particular moment, as he had many times before, Jacopo had invited several friends and acquaintances, and they were entertaining themselves. His wealthy, high-ranking acquaintance had a variety of hair colors, from polished brass to brown of a baby robin and the color of sunburned wheat. There was also much greater variation in skin tone compared to the visitors and residents of the previous eras. But that was hardly any surprise, for the mansion sat upon land inhabited by largely by immigrants, the New World. So we're in America. So wait, is this gonna be a mafia story? Because that'd be kind of cool. What's the matter? What are you looking at? Nothing, I just thought I heard someone say my name. Ain't no one here unless you seeing a ghost. I don't believe in such nonsense. It's an old house with a long history. Wouldn't be surprised if it had a ghost or two. But if the place is gonna be haunted, I'd take a princess over a bloody broad any day. Princess, eh? When she showed up, you'd have your way with this ghost lady, am I right? Yeah, okay. I think I know where we're going. Color me impressed, son. You jump her bones and then she don't even got any to jump. I think I'm gonna like this door. Come on now, that's hardly fair. Not much you can even do with a ghost. My God, are you men or children? This is my house, and I would rather you didn't talk about it like that. Just the blatherings of a couple of drunks. Pretend you didn't hear nothing. For the love of God. In any event, whatever happened to that printer you invested in? I haven't heard their name come up in some time. Can we please avoid that topic? It's been quite the headache for me. I thought it'd pay off, but it always sounded sketchy to me. I'd recommend you pull out unless you want to find yourself with nothing but a nice fat pile of debt. You could have mentioned that beforehand. It's just killing me. The men's deep voices resonated in the cloudy room. As they imbibed alcohol and puffed on their cigars, they conversed mostly about business and money. Jacopo and the rest of the men were a breed known as investors. Cool. You might also call them tacticians. Sure, if you want to be kind. They survived on information attained before anyone else by making swift decisions and having foresight. Among other things. Though instead of flesh and bone, their soldiers were made of ink and paper. To an outsider, this meeting might appear to be a congregation of friends, but in reality, they were observing one another, gathering information and anything else they could use to get ahead. At times, money and information were exchanged directly, and when they were no longer financial value to one another, the relationship would pop like a bubble and dissipate into nothing. Yeah. Uh-huh. But you know, Jacopo, you can't be sure this railroad you're so passionate about is gonna bear fruit neither. You don't even know if it'll get finished. And even if they do connect the tracks, will it really be in any shape for people to ride? It's a pipe dream, this transcontinental railroad of yours. Alright, well, someone's about to get shot. Jacopo went silent, but I am certain this was what was going through his head. I mean, you're not wrong in this. We're talking about investors here, so you're not wrong. They're a bunch of bastards at the end of the day, let's be honest. Right now, I'm just here for the nice music. You're a bunch of damned imbeciles if you can't see that the entire country's put their weight behind this endeavor. Oh, it was. I watched it when it came up. This is why you have so much trouble making even a few thousand. Oh my God, it's a train. At that time, a great railway was being built across the breadth of the continent. Construction was spearheaded by two large rail companies in competition for both prestige and a bigger share of this massive national enterprise. Jesus, take the wheel. The Union Pacific Railroad Company started building from the east, and the Central Pacific Railroad Company from the west. But government bonds alone were not enough to finance the massive undertaking. By the way, there have been some less than pleasant reports about workers dying on the job for the company you chose, Central Pacific. I'm sure that's not going to come up. You mean how they're using explosives to blast through the mountains? Making quite a bang they are. Oh, fuck off. Take that joke and screw yourself with it. But if they think to be much bigger of a fix, they're not going to be able to continue construction. You should at least put your money in the more sure of the bet of the two, the Union Pacific. It'll cost you to hire replacement workers, and if they keep kicking the bucket, you're going to have trouble finding more. My goodness. And here I thought you all had spines. Damn. You think we're gonna run out of workers just because a few ate it? I mean, he's got a point. There's so many we don't even know what to do with them all. I think you're lying. There's not a chance the well will dry up. And if by some chance it does, all we have to do is buy up a ship full of... Oh, cool. So this is the racism chapter. Wonderful. Oh, that's great. Hey, I'm gonna take back what I said. I don't like this door. Shit. You won't get anywhere if you spend some time worrying about a few measly labors. Shit. This is an endeavor backed by the entire nation. Their deaths are honorable in service of their country. The biggest loss is not of people's lives, but of time. The longer a project takes, the more money it costs, and the less profit we make. What we seek is rapid progress, even if the means to obtain it are messy or deadly. Boy, that always goes well. It's like, you're a fucking monster. The other men in the room chuckled uncomfortably at Jacopo's distasteful choice of words. Yeah, I think they're gonna get real distasteful. Do you agree with his way of thinking? Perhaps he does have a point in that great sacrifice is necessary to accomplish great things. Yeah, you're not sacrificing, though. And it is true that tragedy often lies in the shadow of the splendor of times long past. I don't like that phrasing. Furthermore, the way people see the world changes with times, so I hesitate to criticize him too severely. No, you'd be right. Now, as I am sure you have already picked up on, he was an investor who had put money into a railroad company. He also possessed several crude oil refineries, riding on the world's second wave of industrial development. The mansion too bustled with life in a way it never before. Dozens of maids, including me, gardeners, chefs, sculptors, artists. At times, we even had writers coming in and out of the house. There was rarely a moment of silence. However, I was not terribly fond of the hustle and bustle personally. We still don't know what the hell this chick is. But please do not get me wrong, I am hardly opposed to the mansion being cheerful. It was just, how should I put it? The splendor of the time seemed superficial, heartless. It was as though everyone was being rushed along by some unknown invisible force. Hey, they're not being slaughtered and butchered through the hall, so you know what? It's a better change of pace. Part of it was, I expect, caused by the growing divide between those standing at the top and sitting at the bottom. Or perhaps, the mansion was simply taking after its master. There's no time to waste. Everything is resting upon the success of this project. Whatever it takes, I will ensure it happens. I need more money and more power. Suddenly, a restrained knock on the door stopped his train of thought. From beyond the door came a woman's voice, gentle as a soft spring breeze. Pardon me, I made some tea. May I offer anyone a cup? How many lifetimes do you have to suffer? Jesus! Haven't you been through enough? Oh, god damn it. When the door opened, it stood a beautiful woman with pure white hair. It was indeed her. Yeah, of course it was. Are you surprised? No. No, I'm more dread now. Or did you anticipate her appearance? Bit of both. Though she was not the same age and dressed differently, the white-haired girl, whom you saw fall into the hands of misfortune in the era of roses and the era of beasts, was also present in this era of innovation. Furthermore, she was Jacopo's wife. Oh, cool. Yeah, this is gonna end well. Tea? I don't recall asking for that. When were you asked to make it? I wasn't, but I had these leaves in the most wonderful aroma, and I thought you might enjoy. It's the game saying this, not me. Shut your trap and know your place. What do you think we have all these maids for? Hey now. No need to treat your lady like that. She was just trying to be courteous. These are my personal affairs. Please keep your comments to yourself. His friends weren't sure how to react, but ultimately nobody stepped up to stop Jacopo. They merely shrugged, tossing glances at one another. Jacopo stomped over to the white-haired girl. He then grabbed her by the arm and dragged her from the den. Oh, this is wonderful. What the hell do you think you're doing? I've told you time and again to stay away from that room unless absolutely necessary. I'm sorry, but, I made tea and... Shut up about the tea already. You think we're having tea parties in there like a bunch of prissy nobles? I'm sorry. If you really feel so bad, don't go in there in the first place. Get the hell back to your room. I meant no harm. It's just, I'm your wife. I thought it would be nice if I could do something. Like I've told you, that's not your job. Don't show yourself in front of the other men. I have nothing else to say to you. You know, I'm kind of hoping bad things happen this time. Got it? Now scram. Sakes alive, first them, now you. It's driving me up the wall. What is it? I told you to get out of here. Right, but, what? When will you spend time with me next? It has been some time since we last went out together, but we don't even have to go out. Just having dinner together would... How many... Again, I didn't write it. How many times are you gonna have to... How many times are you gonna make me repeat myself, you worthless tramp? Are those ears only for show? Go back to your goddamned room. My apologies. Fuck. I'm already sad. Looking utterly downtrodden, the white-haired girl made her departure. Such a piteous sight she was. As he watched her go, Jacopo merely snorted. Yeah, of course he did. Just thinking about the way he behaved then angers me. I have little fondness for men who do not treat their spouses with respect. So as you can see, the white-haired girl was in hardly a joyous situation. She was devoted to Jacopo and tried to do whatever she could for him, but he not only brushed her aside, he did so in an insulting, deliberately hurtful manner. They were far from picturesque partners. Do you wonder then why she married him? Kind of. The answer to that question will come to light in time. So money. For now, let's follow her. Do we have to? Looking down dejectedly at the undrunken tea, white-haired girl walked alone down the corridor. Though its calming scent filled the air, there was nobody around to have their heart warmed by it. Nor was there anyone to alleviate her loneliness. Despite being the master's wife, the maids who crossed her path in the hall said nary a word to her. As a matter of fact, oh cool. Is it discrimination time? We've had racism already. Is it dessert? Oh dear, I beg your pardon, man. Yep. We've had racism and now we have discrimination. Cool. It's fine. One even bumped into her, stifling a laugh as she trotted off. Uh-huh. In all likelihood, she had done it intentionally. Nah, how can you say that? The poor white-haired girl who had fallen to the floor stared helplessly at the broken cups. Tea she had made for her husband was forming a stain in the carpet. The maid's behavior toward the mistress of the house was absolutely unacceptable. Nonetheless, it was commonplace, all because of the way Jacopo treated her. The more the man of the house acted cruel to her, the less weight her position as his wife held to the servants. Day in and day out, the maids worked busily, offered little opportunity for leisure, so they would naturally have accumulated quite a bit of stress. Oh, she's the punching bag. Cool. And she became the target for them to let off this steam. Not directly, but through a more subdued kind of harassment from the shadows. Oh, there was nothing subdued about that. She must have felt quite miserable. I imagine she would have been better off as one of the maids. Don't remind me of that, please. On the surface and in front of others, they showed respect for her as Jacopo's bride, but behind closed doors, they acted very much the opposite. The disparity between the treatment she received around others, the treatment she was supposed to receive at all times, and the way she was actually treated made the abuse that much worse. And furthermore, because it keeps getting better. As you've seen through the other doors, she was a very reserved young woman. She could neither raise her voice in reprimand nor raise her hand in retaliation. I have to get this cleaned up. She extended her spindly fingers out towards the shards of shattered porcelain. But even the broken cup seemed to have no concern to spare for her. Its shattered edge cut her fingertip when she made to pick it up. Why don't you get a dustpan? I'm sure you had those back then. A trickle of warm red blood ran across her unearthly white skin. As painful a sight as it was, it had a sort of taboo beauty to it. Don't phrase it like that, please. Blood spilling from her fingers showed no signs of slowing down. Oh, cool. She clenched her hand into a fist, let out a sigh, and went back to collecting the shards of porcelain. But when she did... Oh! Is there someone here who isn't an absolute twat? That'd be nice. Madame. What's the matter? Madame, you're bleeding. Madam, whatever. There's no accent, so it's madam, not madame. All the other maids ignored her. One came running over, shouting to the white-haired girl's side. We need to get that... Oh, God, don't tell me her name's Maria. You're reminding me I want to play Silent Hill 2 again. And I do. But I'm also trying to get my backlog done. We need to get that cleaned and bandaged up. Oh, you don't need to pick that up. That's not your job, madam. It's alright, Maria. There's not much to pick up. It is not at all alright. I like Maria. And the rest of you, why are you just standing there? Your boss's wife is on her hands and knees and you're not even lifting a finger to help her. You disgust me. Oh. I like this. I like this homeboy here. Maria, it's fine, really. Oh, madam. If you weren't so timid, this wouldn't happen. You're allowed to yell at them, you know? It's alright, really. It's my fault. I like how even Maria's like, don't fucking lie to me. Don't bullshit me. Anyway, we should get that finger taken care of. Let's get you back to your room, okay? But the broken cups and the spill, as I said, that's the maid's work. Now come on, let's go. Okay. And the rest of you, get this mess cleaned up. She roared like the wind in a thunderstorm. The other maids stood there dumbfounded, watching as she and the white-haired girl disappeared down the hall. But they were soon frowning and grumbling to one another. She thinks she can act all high and mighty just because the master is fond of her. The woman's name was Maria. She was one of the maids. And she was the one person in the mansion the white-haired girl could think of as an ally. Oh, cool. So something's gonna happen to her, too. Fuck. Wonderful. Though her husband paid her no mind, and the maids made her life miserable, just one person, Maria, treated her with respect and kindness. And I am sure you can readily imagine just how much of a lifesaver that was for her. I too found myself somewhat relieved that Maria was there for her. Being a servant of this house, I was also one of the maids working there at the time. However, I was unable to involve myself to any degree in her fate. This meant that there was little I could do to assist her, even in times of pain and unpleasantness. Hey, how about we don't talk about those times? Best I could do was pray that Maria would continue to lend the white-haired girl her hand. And that does it. Thank you, Maria. You're always such a big help. Oh no, no need to thank me. I just did what any good maid should do. No one else is in the room, you know. Alright, then I can drop the act. Man, I just can't used to talking all stuffy. I'm out there doing my best, but the head maid still spousing stuff like, your manner of speaking is improper for a servant. Every single time we meet. Yeesh, come on, just shove it, will you? You're a damn creep. Oh, I like you, Maria. Now, you mustn't speak of her like that. Sorry, slip of the tongue. She just kind of gives me the willies, you know? No, I do. She's a lot of things. I don't think she's a person. Speaking of, you could drop the stuffy talk too, madam. Kinda awkward if only one of us is acting casual, you know? This is normal for me. If I attempted to talk like you, I would freeze up out of nervousness. This is my casual. Fair enough. Guess that's what happens when you're raised well. I like it though, has a very regal feel about it. I don't think my upbringing is the only factor. But you know, upbringing is important. Worth a whole lot more than money, I'd say. I suppose. Thank you, Maria. You're always so compassionate. You betcha. Oh, I wouldn't They don't call me the Virgin Mary for nothing. I practically bleed compassion. I don't like that phrase. With what's happened before, I don't like that phrase. You know, that might be true. You very well could be the reincarnation of the Mother of God. No. You were supposed to laugh at that. It's just embarrassing if you take it seriously. Alone in the white-haired girl's room, Maria was acting a much more friendly and relaxed as they conversed, as opposed to her no-nonsense attitude in the alley, or the hallway. Alley, yeah. The house is an alleyway just for talking shit, which I'd probably invest in, to be honest. Two women were, as you can see, quite close. They had crossed over the wall separating master from servant and built a bond of friendship. And at some point they had begun to speak frankly with one another when no one else was around. Maria was the only person in the mansion around whom the white-haired girl felt comfortable being open. I imagine she very much enjoyed these moments of conversation. You wish to know who the head maid is. Who do you think? My. Are you sure you want to ask me that? No, I don't. Uh-huh. Yeah, I figure. Some questions are better left unasked for your own good. I have to say, madam, you have the prettiest fingers. Mine are all rough and dry and nasty. You know, metalwork does that to things, among other things. You think so? Mine haven't had the slightest bit of muscle. They're about as frail as dead branches. Oh, who needs beefy mitts anyway? I still think healthy-looking hands like yours are far more attractive. Cool. You know what they say about those who like hands? I mean, who said that? What's the like about these things? Women all over the world dream of having hands like yours. Slender, feminine, and perfectly cared for. I don't know, just looking at them lights a Please don't. I know you're fucking with her, but also, like... Jesus. Okay. She's a weirdo. Never mind. I mean, it still would, but weird. Actually say, can I, like... Could you not ask that? Please stop. I am not saying that. I am moving... No, I'm not saying that. Fucking moving on. Come on, can I? What do you say? Stop that, Maria. Seriously. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No, you're fucking not. Don't lie. Own up. Oh, Maria. Alright, how did those tea leaves turn out, madam? The ones you imported. All the maids just adore it. They can't get enough of that aroma. I'm sure they'd like to get a taste of it. If you, end up with extra, you think you could spare a sip for me? That was, what was in the cups I dropped? What? Really? Well, ain't that a crying shame? And Jacopo wouldn't have any of it. God, why does that man have such a stick up his ass? You went through all the trouble of making it for him and he was busy. No, he was being an ass. It's not his fault. Yeah, it is. Busy? You mean playing billiards, drinking bourbon, and puffing a damn cigar. It may look to us as though they are just making small talk, but I'm certain their meeting has some importance to their business. Yeah, he wants to show off. It was imprudent of me to try to step into the men's world. That's just not right. I mean, you're his wife. Why shouldn't you be allowed into the room? It doesn't bother me. You don't have to pretend. Here's an idea. How would you like to have some of that tea now? We also have some orange marmalade, which you like so much. And a scoop of that and a tray of cookies, and we have the perfect tea time. Hell yeah. You're singing the siren song, madam. But you really should be doing that with him. He would not have the tea. I suspect he does not like it. I don't want it to go to waste, so. Madam, I know it's none of my business, and I have no place at all saying this, but it's not impossible for a woman to file a divorce these days. I mean, you'd probably have a decent case. You don't have to sit down and take it, not one bit. You're pretty well educated and still young. There's hope even if you do leave him. There are plenty of other men out there. You aren't obligated to stick with that arrogant jerk. He's just very busy right now. No. He's an ass. He is just that bad a person. There you go again. There was a time when he was kind. He wasn't like this when we first met. Back then, he was a little awkward, but a kind man. Him. A kind man. Yes, believe it or not, there was indeed a time. Say, Maria, would you mind giving me a little bit of your time? I'll make some tea and we can talk. Alright. If you're telling me about when Jacopo was decent, I'm all ears. Indeed. Yeah, define the word decent. As I'm sure you are aware, our parents arranged our marriage. Before I immigrated to this country to be married, I lived in a misty island nation. Portraits of my ancestors hung in the house where I lived. I remember, as a child, wincing in fear at the sight of them staring down at me. My mother and father were constantly telling me to show them respect, as it was their hard work that kept our bloodline alive and well. Hey, I don't like that phrasing. However, they were fighting an uphill battle to do the same. It would have been clear to anyone reasonably perceptive that our house was coming tumbling down. Valuable furniture and paintings slowly disappeared, and eventually the portraits were gone too. As our house collapsed, so did my parents' health deteriorate, robbing us of any source of income. And though I was educated, I lacked the skills necessary to obtain work. Just as we were about to run out of money and options, my parents received Jacopo's parents' marriage proposal. Both of our families stood to benefit from the arrangement. I had social status and he had wealth. We each had what the other lacked. One needs more than money to make it in the world. Without at least a semi-reputable name attached to you, you're liable to get laughed out of most social gatherings. I first met Jacopo here in this country. We didn't even know what the other looked like until our wedding day. To be quite honest, I was scared to death at first. I was so nervous. What kind of man would he be? Was I to be wed to some middle-aged stranger? You know, that's a joke I'm not going to make, because I'm better than that. We were not marrying because we had fallen in love like a normal couple. I knew I was in no position to be concerned with such things, but when I thought about our future, I shook with fear. The man I saw through my veil at the wedding was remarkable. He was young and had strong masculine eyes, and at the same time, he too appeared nervous. He was shaking as much, no, even more than me. Seeing that, the priest gave an impish little smirk when he asked Jacopo if he vowed his eternal love to me. I counted myself among the happy, and I still do. For in that moment I experienced true love. You wanted to hear about when he was kind to me? Well, after the wedding, we were given a week to ourselves. Hey, how are you gonna phrase this? Because, hey. Suppose you could call it a honeymoon, though we didn't take a trip overseas, or even go very far at all. He looked at me with uncertainty and asked, "Where would you like to go?" I beg your pardon? That's what this week is for, right? I'll consider granting your request, so tell me where you want to go. This is all so sudden. Huh? Nothing? Well, this whole engagement was spur of the moment. Normally we would plan a trip in advance, but unfortunately our purpose is served so long as we act the part. You must be disappointed that you have to plan your honeymoon as it's happening. No. What? Speak clearly. I don't like it when people don't speak their mind. I'm sorry, but I'm happy, even if this is a political marriage. Well, you're quite the positive thinker. Your parents say something to make you think that way? Well, either way, if you're so glad to be in this arrangement, then hurry up and decide on a destination. Though there is a limit to how far we can go. If you want to take a trip, I'll consider it. What, something funny? It just seemed comical to me that our honeymoon has begun and we're only now deciding where we want to go. Not in a bad way, though. I'm glad our parents didn't arrange everything for us. Perhaps you heard, but I'm quite sensitive to sunlight and not in the best of health, so it would be rather trying for me to spend a full week out of the house. We couldn't go on a trip, but if it's not too much trouble, speak up. Could you show me around town? I'm new to this country and unfamiliar with its customs, and I'm rather afraid to go wandering about on my own. Show you around. Yeah. Would that be possible? On a rare bit of time off, you ask me to show you around town. Is that really the most exciting idea you have? I'm sorry. If there is somewhere you'd like to go, I'm fine with that. I'll accompany you anywhere. As if I could drag someone who just professed to being sickly all over the country. My God, I've lost all interest in a trip. I thought this was a remembrance on him not being an ass. Hello? What are you doing? Go get ready. Now. I beg your pardon? Didn't you want to see the town? You will show me around. You're the one who asked. Not like I have any options, so yeah, I'll show you around. Thank you. Don't just stand there, you dullard. Get a move on. One moment. Wait for me, please. Again, not an asshole. He hurriedly climbed into the carriage he had called for, a look of frustrated displeasure on his face. Jesus. And then, as if he had forgotten about me until that moment, he returned, grabbed me by the arm, and led me to the carriage. In retrospect, I realized he was not being very gentlemanly. No kidding. But I was pleased that he was making any attempt to interact with me at all. As the carriage trotted down the streets, I saw so many new things. I spent most of my time cooped up inside at home, so it was like stepping into an entirely new world. And add to that the rapid industrial advancement currently taking place. I saw men shouting back and forth as they smacked newspaper articles with the backs of their hands. I saw corner cafes crowded with cigar-smoking men on break from work. It was like the hustle and bustle of a festival. But every festival has its underside. Yeah. I also saw overworked men looking like they were on the verge of collapse, drinking water from a spigot on the other side of the road. By way of contrast, I wore fine clothing and had a carriage at my disposal. I imagine every day was a struggle for them just to remain afloat. Oh boy, many didn't. Had I not married the man I too might have found myself on the streets in a similar situation. In a different life. But it was not relief that spread through my breast at the sight of them, it was the pangs of guilt. It felt to me like a life of opulence was wrong and sinful. It broke my heart to know I was living so much better than them. Well, you have an ounce of awareness, which goes a long way. Jacopo snorted disapprovingly at me, seemingly reading my mind, and then said, "The poor man who envies the rich covets his wealth and finds the ambition to make the same for himself, and the rich man who pities the poor, thinking it is his duty to give them offerings of philanthropy. To me, the latter is the far more nefarious." Where are you going with this? Because I think I know what you're going to say. Excessive charity will ruin a man. Make him come to expect handouts. Yep. And then there are those with the wrong idea of pity, who let themselves fall down to the same place, mistakenly believing it will somehow make the poor feel better. Uh-huh. What a joke. If you're going to do anything for them, you might as well encourage them to climb upward. Spur on economic growth and the flow of capital. Doesn't that sound like the better option? I say nothing, simply smiling and giving an ambiguous nod. He had a point. My sympathy and guilt meant nothing to people actually experiencing hardship. If feeling guilty for my own fortune, I acted upon that pity in a way he had described, it would accomplish little more than self-satisfaction. Seemed to have seen straight through to my very core. This was a man who had built his own fortune through investment, which I imagine required him to be rather astute. But doesn't a world where everyone is constantly trying to climb higher and higher sound rather exhausting? Yeah, there's a point where you've got to stop. I personally would prefer to be in a position where I could watch, if only from a distance, as others climbed. Obviously, I could not say as much to him. Sometime later, the carriage came to a stop in front of a shop. As I looked at the building perplexedly, he gestured to the door with his chin, signaling for me to get out. Lost and confused, I stepped down from the carriage, and before me spread a showcase behind a large glass window. However, lined up in the cases were not precious metals or expensive clothing, but machines. At first, I had no idea what kind of devices they were. Have you never had your photo taken before? No. I've had a portrait painted, though. Are these machines for taking photographs? A portrait, eh? Why am I not surprised? I did not mean to boast. Go on, get in. Please, wait for me. The owner came out to greet us with a wild smile as we entered the shop. Well, if this ain't the strangest thing I've seen all day. You bringing a lady, and a real looker at that. Where on earth did you catch this pretty little thing? She's my wife. I like the fact he's like, no, seriously. Huh. Well, I beg your pardon. I'll be a monkey's uncle. Just goes to show you never know where the cards may fall. You make it sound like my getting married is some kind of miracle. Borderline is. I always saw you as one to choose money over love, sir. Oh, pardon me, this ain't appropriate to say in front of your wife. I like the fact you didn't even try and deny it. It's like, hey, listen, shut the hell up. Do you often come to the shop? On occasion, I need some things here from time to time. I see. There you go, smirking again. What's so funny? We're gonna have our photo taken, yes? I'm so nervous and excited, I've never had one before. And to have it taken side by side with you? What are you talking about? Pardon? You said we were getting our pictures taken. Yeah, that tracks. And side by side, please. You're sending shivers down my spine. But this is a photography shop. Hey, shopkeep. The product I contacted you about, is it ready? Oh, yep. Sit tight, I'll be right out. Huh? You take a seat. There's a chair over there. What? I'm gonna show you something much more exciting than sitting still and waiting in front of a camera lens. Huh? Just do as I say. Okay. What is it, a motion picture? I sat down in front of a large mirror, which I presumed presume was normally used to check your appearance before having your picture taken. Sitting before a mirror with someone else present was quite nerve-wracking. Out of embarrassment, I dropped my gaze to my knees. But when Jacopo returned, I was entranced by the curious object in his hands. Oh. What is this? Do you know what persistence of vision is? The human eye does not perceive the world 100% accurately. This is especially true for objects in motion. It remembers images for a short time, so you put a new image in the same place your eye perceives it as motion. Seeing for yourself will be faster than explaining it. You see the slits in the disc, look through the bottom one and into the mirror. Okay. Good. Just like that. Bring your head in close. Here goes. Sitting behind me, he slid his finger across the top of the peculiar toy, causing it to spin gracefully. And then... Is it gonna show the... Oh, that's a good touch. That's a really cool touch. So what do you see? They're dancing. A man and a woman are dancing. Sounds like you're not having any trouble seeing it. Are they dancing well? Yes, they are. It's the most adorable thing. What? Adorable? That's funny. I asked to have it modeled after a ballroom dance. Yes, it's a very elegant dance. But you see, they're small, like little dwarves, which I thought was kind of cute. And they seem so close, going around and around with ever letting go of each other's hands. This is incredible. Why does it look like they're dancing? They were all lined up in a row a few moments ago. Goodness, I just explained that to you. It's playing a trick on your eyes. What you're seeing is lots of different pictures in a short period of time. To put it in words you might understand better, it's an illusion. Your eyes are being fooled into thinking the image is moving. An illusion. But they're dancing, they really are. And they look like they're having a wonderful time. Are you sure it's an illusion and not something else? To me, it does not seem to be. I cannot see it as anything but two tiny people dancing. That's how it works. Reach out your hand and try and grab them. You won't be able to. Yeah, you're right. That's a shame. I didn't think you actually would. That's the most precious thing. Look as though they're dancing atop my palm. I was mesmerized by this strange phenomenon. Pictures were moving, after all. Still images had begun dancing before me. It was almost as if God had breathed life into them. He had called it an illusion, but I could not grasp that. It was such an adorable, heartwarming sight. I imagined the two were living off in some other world, separate from our own. They looked so happy. I was almost certain they were off dancing in their own joyous world, free from all the sorrow and loneliness and pain of this one. Hey, I'm happy for them. Eventually, the speed at which they danced began to slow, as if they were resting their legs. I almost thought I could hear the sounds of their feet with each step. That's cool. I really like that little shit like that, the little animation. I like that a lot. They stopped. They can dance forever, they don't get tired. You see. I'm amazed such an incredible device exists in this world. Makes me wish I had gone outside sooner. I'm sure someone from as distinguished a house of yours has seen plenty of amazing things with your family. Yeah, about that. Hardly. I rarely ever left the house. I'm ignorant about the ways of the world. If you had not told me, I would have possibly never known about moving pictures, the illusion of moving pictures. Do you like it? Yes, of course. More than the portrait you had painted. Yes, I do. The painting was wonderful too, but can't seem to make up your mind. Go on, tell me, which do you like better, the portrait or this? I like this better. I see. You look somewhat pleased. Though, when it comes down to it, this is a simple trick only a child would fall for. Then, I suppose that makes me a child. If it means I get to watch something as splendid as two people dancing, I'll happily fall for the trick. Quit describing it as two tiny people dancing. You're gonna lose your head that far up in the clouds. Yeah, it's nice up there. I'm sorry. I do not know how else to describe it, though. It's a toy... It's a told a... Phenakistoscope. I'm not saying that again. Yeah, thank you. I'm not saying that. Fuck off. Wheel. Just call it a fucking picture wheel, you dick. Close enough. Thank you. It was invented around 30 years ago. I had the shopkeep make one modeled after the original design. So the shop owner drew this. He did. A lot better than you'd expect, isn't he? Yes, indeed. I am surprised he could draw something so cute. Say that to his face and he'll go red as a beet. What I'd give to get a load of that. You should tell him the next time you see him. Yeah, he's a sweet man. Despite how he looks, you mean. It's not right to judge people based on their appearance. I'm just kidding. Don't take it too seriously. The shopkeep here loves new technology. The picture wheel, I'm calling it picture wheel, I don't care, is one such invention that caught his eye. You can trick the eye into thinking drawings are moving. Using a sequence of photos, you can perhaps make it seem as though real people are moving too. Hey, funny thing about that. And if it becomes possible to show these images to many people at once, these elements could broaden the options artists have to express themselves. Fuck off. No kidding. Not drawings, but photographs. Yes, photos. Taking hundreds or perhaps thousands of photos, it would be possible to reproduce the world as we see it, this room, the people walking down the street. There's no point in recording boring everyday life, though. If you're going to leave a record of anything behind, it should be projects and enterprises that move nations. Say, for example, a moving record of the opening ceremony of the railroad. Alright, that's less than subtle, let's call it. That would be something worth watching. And then in time it would expand beyond a mere record-keeping technology and find its way into the hands of artists. Many artists. Such a thing possible. You must remain still for a long time to take a single photograph. Right now it isn't. But eventually it will be. And I'm not simply fantasizing here. You are. Is that so? Sounds so very futuristic. Don't do this. Do you... What? Do you want to support people who work on that sort of thing? Is that why you are friends with the owner? It has nothing to do with my wants. I merely think there's money in it. You're a goddamn liar, aren't you? The rich starve for entertainment, and artists create that entertainment. I have no interest in their pretentious self-expression. Sure. I just want their money. What? What's so funny? You look like you're enjoying yourself. Honestly, it's just about the money. As you say. Alright, let's get moving. Next is dinner. What? We're leaving already? Does that displease you? No, not at all. To tell you the truth, I wanted to spend a little more time playing with the, thank you, photo wheel, but I could not bring myself to say as much. Reluctantly, I approached the owner to return the wheel. Don't bother. Bring it with you. But, if you don't want it, that's fine too. Just make your decision quickly. You're making the driver wait. Having said that, Jacopo exited the shop, alternating between looking at his back in the photo wheel, debating whether I wanted to do. And then, with a smile, the owner whispered to me, "You're allowed to keep it, really. Your husband out there had it made as a gift for you." Yeah, for me. A little while back, he came into my shop asking if I can make that. Now that about knocked me out of my chair. He's a man who almost never asks for favors. He's pretty damn burlesque, and he's got a tongue sharp enough to cut steel, but he's not wicked to his core, I swear it. I don't know about that. So please, ma'am, be a pillar of support for him. In that moment, the photo wheel became a precious treasure to me. We'd only just married days earlier, and yet he had commissioned it for me without even knowing what I looked like. I was filled with warm, pleasant elation. I agreed with the owner. Jacopo was not a bad man. It ain't good. He merely had difficulty expressing himself. Hurrying back to the carriage, I gave him my deepest thanks, glanced over at me for a moment, then turned back to the window and muttered, yeah. From there, we went to a restaurant for dinner. You call this a pizza? The crust is an atrocity. It's like I'm chewing on rubber. This motherfucker is a mob. How can you wave my country's flag and not serve spaghetti? Do you have any shame at all? God damn it. This wine is pitifully imbalanced, far too high levels of acidity. Listen to me careful. The house wine is the face of a restaurant. He complained about every little thing. It was a complete disaster. But curiously enough, I was not at all put off by his behavior. When the sun set, this carriage made his way to a nearby hill. Cold nighttime breeze felt wonderful on my skin, flushed from the alcohol, and the light from the gas lamps had a comforting warmth to it. Though Jacopo had complained about the quality of the wine, once he had intoxicated himself, his mood improved visibly. It's like, yeah, he got fucking wine smashed. You dumb asshole. It made him unexpectedly talkative. Look out at the city. Gloomy town that shuts down at night isn't suited to expansion or growth, but this city isn't like that. You can see people walking beneath the lamps and you can hear the bustle of them talking. This is a city that still has plenty of room to grow. As I ride the rising wave of the economy, many more people will gather here. More people means more money in circulation. Money in circulation means the city grows. Companies are founded and more goods are brought and sold. Will it really change so drastically? Yes and no. It can be difficult to see what's happening from the inside. Majority of people just go about their daily lives, and the next thing you know, things are different. Yeah, no shit. No, I'd wager most don't notice the changes at all. Only those with eyes sharp enough to realize what's happening can see success. I can't afford to overlook them, even the most minute change. Do you have a dream of some kind? A dream, I'm not sure if it's easy enough to attain to call a dream. Others might call it greed or perhaps ambition. Don't laugh now. My intention is to make the world mine. You fucking stupid asshole. The world. Yes, the world. And to do that, you need either physical strength. You need neither physical strength nor kindness, but money and influence. People have no choice but to kneel before those forces. Why are you so intent on obtaining power? Don't you know what happens when you go down that path, you stupid asshole? Because I want to change my country, I imagine. Your country. You're aware that I, like you, am an immigrant, right? I immigrated from an island off in the Mediterranean. Jesus. Though not the same island as you. My country is a peculiar place where candor and violence go hand in hand. As a whole, the country is on the poor side, and if nobody does anything about that, I am one of but a few of my fellow countrymen who has set his sights on the New World. They are falling far behind other nations. If I find success here, perhaps that will catch their attention. But if it doesn't, then my country is doomed to collapse. You have much love for your homeland. My feelings are a little more complicated than mere love. But that's nothing you need concern yourself with. Well, I'll have to remember not to get myself drunk around a woman again. Buddy, you've made that mistake once, you're gonna do it again. Forget everything I just said. It's about time we head back to the house. Alright, but, what is it? Is it alright if I provide you encouragement as you try to attain your dream? I know my presence is more likely to be a hindrance, but I would like to be there to watch as you trek forward. I suppose, do as you wish. Thank you. You have my support then. I ain't saying that. Send a shiver down my spine, though not in a pleasant one. Hey, it didn't stop at your spine, did it, buddy? I'm glad to have you as my partner. I was without a doubt happy then. The smile, the things he said, the photo wheel he gave me, they were all undeniably real. And those memories give me the will to wait. For the day things go back to the way they were. They allow me to believe. Alright. There is something that actually happened to another maid. She heard a sound in the middle of the night, a sound like dripping water. That ain't good. At first she thought it was raining, so she looked through the window, and there wasn't a cloud in the sky to cover the stars. Maybe it's a faucet, she thought. Crap. Okay. Maybe it's a faucet, she thought, so she stepped out of her room and into the corridor. Compared to her room, it was unearthly chilly. The maid regretted not bringing something to cover herself with, but that didn't make any sense. Normally, the temperature wasn't that much colder outside her room. Her nightclothes had always been more than enough for a trip to the lavatory. Wondering what the reason could be, she made her way towards the sound. But then, she realized something. There were no faucets in the direction she was going. Rather, she was heading towards a hall. Oh, wonderful. That's great. There's nothing bad can happen here. The mansion where she served had many halls, but this one was far off in a far corner of the house. The least used hall of them all. It had a high roof, but not a lot of space, so it was difficult to make good use of. Hey, you know what things can drip? A lot of things can drip. A lot of things that aren't meant to drip can drip. It also had a somewhat heavy hair to it, a very curious room. It was the kind of place you might assign someone to clean as part of their hazing. Anyway, when the maid realized that the sound was coming from that peculiar hall, she, as you might expect, let out an uncomfortable sigh. But there might be a leak, and having noticed, she couldn't simply ignore it, you know? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you fucking can. That's a morning problem. That's not a night problem. That's a fucking I'll deal with it in the goddamn morning problem. So, as much as she hesitated, she pushed open the doors to the hall. There was nobody there, and it didn't look like anything was leaking either. Cool. There were no puddles nor water stains anywhere to be found, but she could still hear the sound. Drip, drip, getting louder and louder. Slowly stepping further into the hall, into the room, looking left, then right, then left again, she searched for the source of the sound, coming to a stop in the center of the hall. Stood there still, quiet, and then a chilly spot on the nape of her neck. With a little help, she reached back to feel her neck, but it wasn't wet. Cool. Confused, she slowly tilted her head backward. Yep. And there hung a bloody skeleton from the ceiling. That's cool. Yeah, I'd probably shit myself too. Oh, god damn it. Free, you fucking asshole. that's rich. Amazing. Oh my god. You scream like a little girl. Maria? You little... My god. Are you men or children? This is my house, and I'd rather you didn't talk about it like that. Whose words were those again? Maria, you're a fucking shithead, and I love it. Shut your mouth. How do you know about that? Were you eavesdropping? And another thing, I do not care for the sort of stupid, fantastical tales you women so love to pass around. Because they scare you? You've never been able to handle anything scary, Jacopo. Damn. Whoa, don't glare at me like that. You're gonna destroy my sides. So, did you come here for the sole purpose of telling me that cheap tripe? Acting tough after the fact just makes you look like twice as much of a wuss. Damn. Get told. Well, I mean, I did make up a good half of it, but the maid really did hear a sound in the middle of the night. And it came from the back hall of this merry mansion. Do you know, they say it was used to be a chapel. Again, I have no interest in your women's little ghost stories. Is that so? You sure you're not just scared? Maria? Well, that said, the rumors aren't completely unfounded. This is a pretty old mansion, and it had a lot of work done to it. Kind of feels like it's barely holding itself together. Like a big old quilt with pieces missing. Like a big old quilt with pieces from all different time periods. The back hall is one of the oldest patches. There's a huge window on the far end, and supposedly there used to be stained glass in it. Huh? It was a depiction of an archangel, they say. Such a shame. I wonder when it was broken. If it were still there, I bet it'd be worth a fortune. I find that hard to believe. First of all, why would anyone put a chapel inside a mansion? You got a point, I guess. Now how about you do some actual work instead of distracting yourself with all this nonsense? I do work. But, the other maids can be a bit nasty, you know? Dealing with other women is like walking on glass. Am I to blame for that? What? Damn, Maria. She's like, yeah, you might be, asshole. Don't give me that look. They're just not fond of me, simple as that. Nothing you can do about it. Is that so? Oh yeah, I was talking to the madam, and she was telling me you used to be quite the gentleman. Were you perhaps actually in love back then? You sure don't act like it, so it's easy to miss. But I guess you're not made entirely out of steel. Just like when you were younger, you're still... Do not speak of that. Oh, she's an old friend. I get it. The past is not worth remembering. It is unnecessary. So to you, the past exists just to be cast aside. Nah, it's not important. You don't want me to talk about it, I won't talk about it. But your wife... Never mind. I'll leave you be. I have to get back to work soon, or I'll be staring down the head maid's Arctic smile. Alright. If a fancy strikes me, I'll drop by and we can trade more ghost stories. Maria. What? No ghost stories? No, not that. I've not forgotten those days. But, no, it's... I'll be off then. Alright. If the fancy strikes you, drop by and we can trade something other than ghost stories. What'd I tell ya? I'll consider it. Goodbye. This motherfucker... That's the fucking Hazama pose from BlazBlue. God damn it. Because it's not Teremy because he doesn't have the hood. God damn it. I can't escape anything. God, I do want to try that BlazBlue roguelike game, because apparently it's really good. Oh, hey! I know what that is. That's not a good memory. Cool, the music's being creepy again. They've grown to be so beautiful. Such a wonderful fragrance. The scent of roses is so calming. I wonder why that is. Would it cause any trouble if I picked one? Oh, hey, cool! I totally don't remember this. Hey! Crap. Well, hello there. Out for a midnight stroll, are you? Quite the peculiar hobby, madam. I cannot spend as much time as I like outside during the day, so I end up coming out at night. I apologize if I startled you. Oh no, not at all. There is a chilling, captivating beauty to the sight of your snow-white form standing there in the moonlight garden. I would hardly... what are you doing out so late? I saw a figure through the window. On the slight chance it might be a burglar, I thought it my responsibility to ensure they did not break in. You wanted to steal their soul, damn it. It was also the middle of the night when the grocer's servant broke into their safe. News of that spread quite far. I'm sure you would have heard about it. Oh, but Jim Ash? Jim Ash? Wait. But... We've seen that name, haven't we? Dear me, cannot seem to get my head out of the past. Do you intend to give that white rose to someone? Yes. I was thinking of giving it to my husband. While I expect he has little fondness for such feminine taste, the scent of flowers has a truly calming effect. You might find it relaxing when he needs a reprieve from his work. Oh, is that so? You are very kind-hearted. Speaking of white roses, the rose he meant to give you was the same shade of white. Oh, But when you touched it, it turned a deep shade of red. Yeah, like, what the fuck's going on with this fucking place? There was but a single white rose in the garden, so he was unable to give it to you as he had wished. In its place, he had a decorative rose fashioned for you. What exactly are you referring to? Oh dear, do you not remember? Then I am to assume you've forgotten what happened to the rose accessory as well. It was unable to give that to you either. But that time because you rejected the gift. I'm not criticizing you for that decision, of course. Yeah, I mean... we don't need to talk about it. You had a perfectly good reason for not accepting it. Yeah, that's probably the best way to phrase that. Heartbroken from having lost you, he buried the rose in this garden. Over the years, the roses in the garden withered away, and in their place grew a thick, unsightly nest of weeds. Many, many years later, that accessory was dug up by a beast. And curiously enough, it had not a speck of rust on it. A beast. You do not remember him either. The foreign man who, through his interaction with you, almost regained his humanity. I'm sorry. I have no idea what you speak of. The only gift I have received from a man is my picture wheel. And furthermore, I have only lived in this mansion for a year. While the garden was not as thriving as it is now, it was certainly not in ruins when I arrived. Because I had been taking care of it, yes. But for whatever reason, by my hands alone, I was unable to make it into anything quite as splendid as it is now. Once you arrived and began to work on it, however, just look around, you have restored it to its former glory, to the magnificence of the flaxen-haired family's time. I promise I am not trying to fault you for anything. Now that I think about it, it makes sense you would not remember. Though you are still you, you are different than before. Different, though not in the sense you are a wholly distinct person. Tell me, is your name... We still don't know their fucking name. My name is... whatever. Yes, but you should already know that. Again. More proof that you are indeed you. Did you know that your current name is pronounced the same as the name of the person you are waiting for? Huh? Wait, what? Did you know that your current name is pronounced the same as the name of the person you are waiting for? What are you talking about? I met you many times and I know of your past, of events that transpired long, long ago. I'm telling you the truth. I first came to this mansion just a year ago. Until then, I had never left my country, even set foot in my own house. We did not have any servants either. So where, then, are you saying we met? This mansion, of course. But I'm telling the truth. It was a year ago, shortly after my parents fell ill and received an offer for my marriage. I knew something had to be done. I knew it, and I'm telling the truth. If that's what you remember, then I do not doubt you. But I also suspect I know why you seem so flustered. Are there moments where your memories seem hazy? When it seems like more important details have fallen through the cracks? You needn't fret. One day, eventually, you shall remember all. One day. What the hell is this? A white rose. Did she leave this here? A flower. What does she think she's doing? Is she trying to aggravate me? That garden. That damn rose garden is the whole problem. Flowers serve me no purpose but to deceive. That garden is a sign of weakness. It has no place in this house. Oh, you fuckhead. Approximately a week had passed since then. The white-haired girl was, as usual, spending her time in her room, reading, staying inside the house. Then Maria barged in. Madam. Oh my, you're out of breath. What happened? What happened is that we have a big problem. The garden. The rose garden. The garden? All the roses you put so much love into are being chopped down. We'll lose them all if we don't hurry. Upon hearing the news, the white-haired girl dashed from her room and towards the garden, with Maria following close behind. When she arrived, she saw a dozen or so sweaty, rugged men at work, Jacopo shouting orders. The men clearly had no concept of how much a single flower was worth, no concern whatsoever for their beauty, for they mercilessly, thoughtlessly hacked away at the shrubs like they were naught but weeds. Each flower they tore from the earth extinguished another of many lives the white-haired girl had put so much time and effort into tending. Jesus Christ. Jacopo, what are you? Oh, hello, Maria. I didn't expect you would come here with her. Why would you do? Why? Why, it goes without saying. This house has no need of a garden. Damn flowers have no place here. Might as well do something worthwhile with the soil. Miniature railroad would be a better use of the space. Certainly a great deal easier on the eyes. Dear Lord. I can even get my hands on some genuine wheels. Same wheels being used on the revolutionary Transcontinental Railroad. 10 or 20 years down the line, they'll be worth a fortune. Jacopo. You know how much this garden meant to me, don't you? Did it honestly have no place here? Flowers have a calming effect on people. They give you peace. They are not by any means worthless. So you're saying that white rays was your passive-aggressive way of telling me to calm down? Not at all. I simply thought you... At the end of the day, you're just using them for your own purposes. to trick and deceive. To you, this rose garden was nothing but... Jacopo? You've gone too far. This isn't right. Gone too far. This is my mansion. What I do with my property is my business. With that rose arch out of the picture, we'll have a much better view. There won't be anything blocking the sun any longer. Weren't you supposed to be sensitive to sunlight? Spending too much time out here and you're liable to fall ill. Get back inside now. You too, Maria. The poor thing, though she did not say a word, was surely thinking, are you truly that determined to rob me of my sanctuary? The worlds twirled around in her head, unable to make the final journey to her lips. She stood there looking down at her own feet as her husband marched off, and listened to the screams of the roses being reaped. That's a rather morbid sentence. Jesus. After being torn down by Jacopo, the garden reverted to a state of ruined desolation. A shame. After all the work that went into restoring it to the beauty it had under the flaxen-haired family. And as Jacopo had said, in its place went scraps of metal, train wheels, prototype models, carbon rods. These items may have had value for him, but I certainly do not think it was worth robbing his wife of a place that made her feel comfortable, just so he could store them there. Besides, I was rather fond of the rose garden myself. The roses seemed to evoke a sense of nostalgia in me. I felt as though, somewhere far beyond the edge of my memories, I had seen another garden of roses, modest though it may have been. But I cannot remember when it was. Does that come as a surprise to you? I'm quite sure there are periods of the mansion's history of which I am not aware, but in any case, Jacopo had caused many people great pain in order to repurpose that garden for himself, and he continued to walk all over his wife. Whenever she tried to do something kind for him, he would brush her off, saying, "That's not your place." He paid no mind whatsoever to the looks of dejection that rose to her face every time he rejected her. I was beginning to wonder if anything she had said about the man he had been a year earlier was actually true. And if it was true, could a person really go through such a drastic change of heart in such a short time? What do you think? No, I've spoken enough about me already. I seem to be talking a lot about myself this time, but that is hardly appropriate behavior for a maid. Now let us return to our tale. That evening, the white-haired girl sat in her room, staring sorrowfully at her photo wheel. A small mirror before her, she tried spinning the paper disc, but it was just not the same as before. Her husband was not there at her side, and even more critically, there was not a smile on her face. Then as she heard a faint knock on her door. Who is it? It's me, madam. It's me. May I come in? Oh, Maria. Of course, come in. What are you doing here at this time of night? I was just wondering how you were doing. Should I have left you alone? Oh, it's no trouble at all. I'm always glad to have you. You're making me blush, madam. I got the feeling you were a little down in the dumps. So I'm not here because I need to be. I just kinda ended up here, I guess? Maria? Sorry, I'm not making any sense. I can be a bit of a busybody, you know. Trouble with boundaries, I guess. Never been able to fix that. No, I don't consider you intrusive at all. Hell yeah. Yo, everybody needs a friend like Maria. I cannot count how many times your bright smile and cheerful energy has shone a light on me when things were dark. If I didn't have you, I would have given up already. You seem to see right through me. Even now, you are exactly right. I am feeling a little dispirited. That garden was an even bigger life raft than I thought. Perhaps I am being overly dramatic, but the roses were almost like children to me. I get it, I do. You put your heart and soul into tending that garden. It was obvious how much you loved them. Of course it's gonna hurt watching a bunch of men stomp all over your flowers when you cared for them like your own children. Now, I know I said this once already, but you don't need to force yourself to put up with him, really. You don't have to bend to his will just because you're a woman. You can survive without him. Anytime you want to walk away, that's your choice. I mean, I'd sure be lonely if you left, madam. But your happiness is more important than any of that. Hell yeah. So, thank you, Maria. I truly do appreciate it. But I would still like to wait. For the day I can see his warm smile once again. If you say so. Well, in that case, I guess I'll have to be there to back you up. It'll be alright. You leave everything to this holy virgin. Sure. I'll have a stupid grin on my face no matter how down you're feeling. You really are the reincarnation of the Mother of God, aren't you? Oh, I told you it's just a joke. Eh, whatever. So hey, madam, how about a dance? Dance? At this time of night? Yep, until it's so late, no loud music. All you get is a little whistling, courtesy of me. But this room is too small for... We'll use the Great Hall. Wouldn't that put us in everyone else's way? You would probably complain about the noise too. No need to worry. Jacopo's out inspecting some factory or something today. After that, he's got a meeting, so he'll be staying the night elsewhere. The rest of the maids are in the rooms chatting away. No one will notice. Where I come from, we dance all the time. We take eat, drink, and be merry to heart. No food or drink for us, but we absolutely can dance. Dancing is a great way to forget all your cares. I am not much of a dancer. No big deal, nobody's watching. Come on, put on a little fancy perfume and let's have some fun. I don't have any perfume though. Didn't think so. You've got all the right ingredients, madam, but you don't try and make anything special out of them. You've got so much potential, but not even a decent-sized wardrobe. At the very least, you should wear some perfume. Which is why, ta-da, I brought some with me. The maids are in love with this stuff. It's a big hit with women all over the country. The base is vanilla, and it's got several other fragrances mixed in. Give it a try. It smells divine. Cool. This is what we're doing. But Maria, come on, what's the harm? Just a little splash on your wrist like so. What do you think? You were right, it smells wonderful. Doesn't it? So you like it? Yes, very much so. Excellent. Now off we go to the Great Hall. Are we really going to dance? You bet your butt we are. It's not healthy to hole up in your room all day. I know you can't handle a lot of sunlight, but you still gotta have some fun and move your body. Come on, let's go. Oh, Maria. Though she looked outwardly uncertain as Maria led her forward, hand around her wrist, the white-haired girl seemed to be enjoying herself on the inside. Let's say she could use a little bit of happy after that. Like, Jesus Christ. This fucking game. Story, I guess. Having spent her life without a single friend, she never dreamed the day would come where she would find herself being dragged through the empty halls of a dark mansion by another woman. Marie's presence seemed to shine a light upon the quiet corridor. It would have been a very lonely trek without her. Maria spun around, gave an impish smirk, and raised her pointer finger to her lips with a soft shh. Sight of it caused the white-haired girl to chuckle quietly. The two of them, on their way to their secret private ball, were like two adolescent girls. In short order, they arrived at the Great Hall. My heart was pounding all the way here. What's there to be nervous about? It's not like you're breaking any rules. Only kids get in trouble for staying up late. It's gonna really suck when something happens to Maria. God damn it. Once you've grown up, you're responsible for yourself. Yeah, no shit. I will say, though, that it seems rather odd for two women to dance together. Oh, if you're having a good time, what does the matter between... I don't know about that. Where I come from, there's dances where families lock arms in a big ring, go around in circles. So who's to say girls can't... I'm not saying no. Imagine you had many good moments with your family. Well, I don't have a family anymore. What? Alright, so I'll show you how it's done. Watch carefully because you're up next. Okay. Wide grin on her face, Mary began whistling softly and prancing on the floor with an energetic rhythm. It was not the kind of complicated dance you'd see at fancy parties. Motions were simple, flowing, unembellished. English. Folk dance, I guess you might call it. Seemed to be improvising a little bit as well. But in any event, the white-haired girl was captivated. Despite it being a sequence sense anyone could replicate, Maria breathed life into the dance. She was neither as lithe as an acrobat or light on her feet as a professional dancer. She was her own lively, beautiful self. Maria twirled in place, the skirt of her maid uniform billowing gently up around her. Smile, she extended her hand towards the white-haired girl. She hesitated for a moment, but as if being pulled forward by some invisible force, she took Maria's hand. Hand in hand, Maria ushered the white-haired girl into her dance. Just the two of them, but you can almost see the crowd forming around them. The other people stepping up to join in. That's it, madam. Doing great. Lift your legs up good and spin like so. This is not easy, Maria. I'm having trouble following along. Oh shit, she's got 2 left feet. See, she believes in you. You can do it. Looking good so far. You're a natural, madam. Maria. I won't fall for your flattery. I mean it. Whispers of the two girls, muffled laughs, step, hop, step, step, the rustling of fabric, many different soft sounds layered atop one another, creating a little bubble of happiness in the center of the hall. White-haired girl's movements were a great deal clumsier than Maria's, but Maria would never disparage her for that. On the contrary, she showered her with praise. Flustered as the white-haired girl appeared, I imagine she was quite pleased. Hell yeah. She needs some good. She needs some happy. Before long, the tightness in her face muscles loosens, a smile spread across her lips, and she began to brighten up. Hell yeah. See what I tell you, fun, huh? Yes, I am quite surprised, both that I can dance and I enjoy doing so. Glad to hear it. Exchanged looks and both laughed. It might have been the first time I had ever seen the white-haired girl so delighted. However, because of her infirmity, she quickly found herself out of breath, porcelain skin flushed red. You gotta get cardio. Maria immediately stopped for a break. She could surely have continued dancing for some time yet, but Maria was conscientious of the white-haired girl's physical condition. She looked over at Maria regretfully. My apologies if only I had more stamina. I am hardly a suitable partner for you, Maria. Sure you are. This is all to cheer you up, madam, so as long as you're having fun, nothing else matters. And heck, I'm enjoying myself plenty too. What do you think? Wouldn't it be nice to do this again sometime? Whenever you're feeling down, let's dance. If you really do enjoy dancing with a frail girl like me, then I would be glad to. Have a little more confidence in yourself, madam. You're so pretty and kind-hearted. I have loads of fun when I'm with you, so you don't need to be so hard on yourself. Got it? Thank you. Pleasure's mine. It is an absolute honor to have the rare opportunity to see such a bright smile on your face, madam. My apologies for keeping you out so late. I should get back to my room. Oh, I didn't even realize what time it was. I'm more than up for a little more gum flapping. You've improved my mood more than adequately. I would not want you to be tired for work tomorrow. Aw, okay. Well then, let's get out of here. Yes, let's. Smiles on both of their faces, they made to exit the Great Hall. However, before they reached the door, it swung open. Huh? Man's towering shadow cast the two women into darkness, his cold, bitter glare fixed on them. If I'd have even the faintest premonition this might happen, I would have done anything in my power to stop the... Oh, crap. Oh, so it's time for a bad thing. Alright, yeah. But I am eternally powerless. Yeah, that's about right. What are you doing here? Standing before them in the door was the master of the house, Jacopo. I thought you would not be back until tomorrow. And how would you know that? No, forget that. Does my staying the night elsewhere have any effect on you? You were just waiting for this opportunity, weren't you? No. What would I possibly want you out of the house for? I'm sure you know better than anyone. What? What is that smell? Perfume? When did you get perfume? And I have to say, seem to be having quite the time. Look at you. You're out of breath, red as a beet. I made the right decision coming back. Where the hell were you going? No, I wasn't going. Jacopo, calm down, seriously. You shut it. Now you're taking this again. Ain't saying that. I've told you before you are not to leave this house without first consulting me. Or do you mean to tell me you've forgotten? God, your ears aren't just for show, alright? They're better than that. They'll even throw out the parts you don't want to hear. No, I swear I was not doing anything you... Silence? I have no interest in your excuses. You're always watching from the shadows, observing, trying not to step on anyone's toes. And in the back of your mind, you're mocking me. No, Listen up and listen good. You just try stepping out of line again. You just try disgracing me again. You will not get away with it. For the love of God, get back to your room now. You too, Maria. Alright. God, what is this sickeningly sweet smell? How utterly infuriating. It'll take forever to get this off me. I always thought you at least some sense of taste. Why did he have to disparage her so? What did she do wrong? What did she do to deserve that? She did nothing whatsoever wrong. She deserved none of the ridicule he showered her with. However, she was not a strong-willed woman. She did not have the courage to retort to the man yelling at her. And neither did Maria, it seemed. Without another word, they both scrambled out of the great hall, away from Jacopo. Water Girl was a painfully miserable sight to behold. Cheer had drained from her spirit, and the rosy hue from her now pale cheek. She was hunched forward slightly, looking like a small, scared animal. I'm sorry, this is all my fault. If I hadn't asked you to dance, and me bringing the perfume only made things worse. No, you need not feel bad about anything, Maria. It's like, God, I hope I cannot wait for the bad thing to happen to that fucking asshole. Everything you did was with my best interests at heart. So, don't worry. I will be fine. So, madam, I'll clear everything up. I really am to blame after all. He wouldn't even give you the time of day if you tried. He's a stubborn little shit when he's mad. I'll talk to him, he's more likely to listen to me. I'll make sure he knows he was jumping to conclusions, that I'm the one who dragged you out there to dance, and also that I forced you to wear the... I'll clear everything up, Kay? Please, you cheer up. It would be best if I could tell him myself, but yes, you are right. He would likely not listen to me. He rarely ever listens to me. I should be ashamed. I cannot even hold a simple conversation with my own husband. These things happen, you know? It's not easy being married, in a lot of ways. Yes, you're right. Apologize for having you do something so unpleasant, but I would appreciate that. Oh no problem, I'm happy to. No need to apologize, I've got this. I'll dunk his head in cold water until he's not blowing steam from his ears anymore. Yeah, please do. I'll cool him down, promise. And you never know, maybe he'll be open to listening. You could be back to the way you were a year ago in no time. Don't you worry, I'll take care of it, madam. Be positive, you look so much better with a smile on your face. Alright. Thank you. may call it here in a little bit. Doubt Jacopo would listen, even coming from Maria, and I imagine the white-haired girl felt much the same way. However, she grabbed onto that sliver of hope. She let herself dream. She let herself believe, even just faintly, that everything would go well. Such is human nature. When uncertainty has you in its clutches, you grasp at whatever hope you can find to keep yourself afloat. That night, she did not sleep. She was afraid that even in her dreams, Jacopo would be shouting at her. Felt as though her memories of a year prior were beginning to crumble away. The next morning, Jacopo stood alone in the den by the billiards table. He appeared to be rather agitated. His face was twisted into a frown, his pointer finger tapping restlessly against the hard surface of the table. Evidently no longer able to sit in one place, he paced the circle around the table, then swiped up a rack and a cue, setting up a game at 9-ball. I'm not intimately familiar with the ways by which men entertain themselves, but in truth, I was bewitched by the sight of him leaning over the table. It almost seemed as though a steel rod ran from his shoulder to the tip of his outstretched finger, upon which the key was secured by another finger looped over it. Smooth fluid motion, he thrust the cue forward slightly, pulling it back and repeating the process once more, before ramming it into the cue ball, sending it rolling into the diamond of colored balls. A chorus of clicks and clacks emanated from the center of the room. That's louder than I thought it was. Shit. Balls collided with one another and ricocheted off the cushioned walls, a few landing in pockets situated around the edge of the table. Jacopo appeared to have accomplished this with little trouble, but I'd imagine merely striking the cue ball with the stick would be rather difficult for someone inexperienced. Despite his compliment, it seemed to only exacerbate his agitation. Lousy positioning, he muttered, though I hadn't the faintest idea what he was talking about. What should have been a game for his enjoyment, he went about with a constant look of exasperation. I suspect he was just using it as a way to blow off steam. And as a result, the tension in the air was palpable. I felt it would be improper to intrude upon him, even considering my distaste for the man. There was an undeniable beauty in every motion he made, every perfectly audible clack of billiards, bouncing off one another. It was an enchanting sight. But then someone without the slightest regard or appreciation for beauty came marching in with a hammer to shatter it like glass. Hell yeah! Gotta say, that was pretty impressive. Man leaned against the frame of the open door. He was neither a resident nor a worker of the mansion. The man's face was covered in scraggly stubble, his body draped in grime-caked garments. His eyes were sunken so deep, it was as though I was looking at a fleshless skull, though there was a feral glimmer in them. Needless to say, he was not prim and proper. How long have you been there? Not long. But man, I can't help laughing. You were completely in your own world there. What do you want? And why didn't you send a maid for me? Don't be such a hard ass. We ain't strangers, man. Why should family have to go through the maids to see you? That just ain't right, brother. Your door should always be open for family. Enough. I am not your family. We're bound by something even stronger than blood. By our family, our Koska? Don't. You only ever bring up the Koska when it's in your interests. Ooh, scary. Come on now, what happened to you, little Jack? Where'd the little boy who used to call me Uncle Tommy go? Don't you dare use that godforsaken name. Get the hell out of my sight. What in God's name are you doing here? The man hailed from the same country as Jacopo. They had a peculiar relationship. Though they were not blood-related, he referred to Jacopo's family. They came from a sunny island in the Mediterranean Sea, a place of many unique customs and an entire underground society. Yeah, he's mafia. Koska was a word that originated from and referred to those underworld families. It would be another 30 or so years before organizations like theirs received much public attention. At the time, they were not widely known. Just a short step into the future and they would grow so powerful the very mention of them would send a chill throughout the room. Or through the room. Hey now. That's no way to talk to a fellow Berzati. You're on the short list to become the next Capo Famiglia. We respect our brothers. That's how we operate. I could go home and say you threw me out of your house. How'd you like those rumors to spread? The soon-to-be Capo Famiglia wouldn't even listen to a little request. I very much doubt anything you said could damage my reputation. Ain't been exiled yet. And as long as I'm one of them, they won't ignore me. Ooh, that's a mighty fine whiskey you got there. Don't mind if I do. Nothing here is for you to drink. Booze is my lifeblood, man. No love for a brother? You worthless leech. It surely won't be long before you find yourself in exile. If you're lucky enough to get off the hook with just exile, that is. A child could snap that scrawny neck of yours. If I'm gonna go, I'd rather go tied up, tortured for days, covered in tiny little cuts from head to toe. You sick bastard. You disgust me. Call me a carnal adventurer. I despise the mundane. Last thing I want is go out like a wet fart. Is this what you came for? To waste my time with your insipid nonsense? Oh, hardly. Surely you have an idea what I'm here for. And how much I need. You damned maggot. A worthless leech, a sick bastard, and a damned maggot. What other names have you got up your sleeve for me? You son of a... Do you honestly think this is how you ask for a favor? What? Excuse me. I beg of thee, O esteemed future Capo Famiglia. I'm bone broke, not even enough money to put bread on the table. Could you spare a little for a brother? You brought this on yourself, I'm sure. I hear more than enough stories about you, and hardly any of them pleasant. Drinking, gambling, debauchery. I'm humiliated to be in the same cask as you. You want to make money playing, you gotta learn the game first. Says the worm who played himself into oblivion. Now, do you honestly believe I'll give you anything? Oh, but you will. You got no choice. Costco rules. You're required to help a fellow countryman. Especially considering how few of us there are stranded on this colossal landmass. You won't even notice the money's missing. It ain't because you can't, because you don't wanna. But Jacopo, being a tight ass, does nothing for you. Me coming to you for help keeps your good name clean. That's the thing about being boss. You quietly keep little shits like me out of trouble, so that trouble don't come raining back on you. You do not seem to understand your place. Rather than lecturing me, you should be on your hands and knees begging and crying for my help. If that's what you want, I'll gladly comply. Happy to kiss your boots while I'm at it. Don't even think about it. Know this, there won't be a second time. I will be reporting your conduct to the family back home. I look forward to seeing how they deal with you. Just try and have a little mercy, would you? Hey, is there a maid around? It doesn't matter who. Hey, how may I serve you? Get a single stack from the safe. Here's the key. It goes without saying, but don't touch anything else. Give the money to that man as you're escorting him out the door. As you wish. Is that all you needed? Yes, now get to it. Very well, excuse me. Well, that's one looker of a maid you got there. But there's something, I don't know, eerie, strange about her? Fancy that. We agree on something. How long's she been working here? Couldn't tell you. As I recall, she came with the house. Is that the kind of woman you fancy? A gal you can't read will always be interesting. That's so. Now that he mentions it, how old is that woman? Though I suppose it doesn't matter much. Oh yeah, Jacopo. One other thing I wanted to talk to you about. What is it this time? And if it's more of your blather, I will shoot you dead where you stand. Now, no need for threats. This one's about your, better half. What about my wife? Well, to put it simply, yeah. She came to me asking for advice, looking a little distressed. My wife asked you for advice. Yep. From the sounds of it, you're pretty rough on the little lady. That just ain't right, man. You managed to snag yourself a broad that pretty, you ought to treat her at least a little better, you hear? She looks good with a smile. You gotta make her show it to you every once in a while. Why would she come to you about that? Don't ask me. Maybe she ain't got no one else to talk to. And you know, for whatever it's worth, I am part of the same Costco. Guessing she thought I'd get through to you easier? Really? You just have to put a little more thought into how you act around her and she'll be smiling for you like always. Oh yeah, I got just the thing. Women love this stuff. I'm sure she'll be thrilled. Is that perfume? Haven't you heard? Everyone's talking about it. I'm a big fan of this stuff. Dude, smells great. I don't know about that. Alright. Pretty girl smiles at you wearing some of this. Any man be in love in an instant. Never given her nothing fashionable before, have you? May look like just scented water, but you can't let that fool you. Go on, give it to her. You like a nice smelling lady too, don't you? A little bit of scent can give a Alright, let's move on. Vanilla. Well, I've said my piece, so I'll be taking my leave. Don't want to keep your maid waiting too long and get on her bad side. Yeah, we don't know what she'll do. Hold on, Tommaso. Why would she make it last? That's all the advice your Uncle Tommy has for you. Ciao. Wait, Tommaso. Right? I could go after him, but it would be a simple task. It would be a simple task to catch him, grab him by the neck, make him tell me. Tell me where he spoke with her and what she told him. But why? Why will my legs not move? Asking him for advice, fashionable perfume, her smile. She looks good with a smile. She'll be smiling for you like always. Can't be. She hardly ever smiles around me. But she'll smile for him? Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Night when she was short on breath with such a grant. Crap. Getting ready to leave the house. Just who was that smile for? God damn it. Don't you think I'll let you run free any longer? Cool. Oh, it gets worse. Eyebrows were furrowed, creating deep creases on his forehead. Several servants stood off to the side, watching their master attentively as he stomped past them down the corridor. However, no one said a word to him. Had I not been preoccupied attending to his countrymen, I likely could have prevented it. Look on his face would have made it obvious something bad was about to happen. Yeah, no kidding. Something that would serve only to further her misfortune. She was already in a less than ideal situation, and it was perched on the edge of a hill, soon to be rolling down into even worse territory. Jacopo? What's the matter? If you wanted to visit, you could have said something rather than coming in without knocking. Is that really necessary? Pardon? Is there something you so desperately want to keep from me that I must knock before entering? That I should have to let you know in advance that I'm coming? What? What are you... Well, is there? You went to talk to him behind my back, I'm told. What'd you tell him? You moaned to him about my behavior. Uh-huh. Yeah. That hurts. You told him I'm rough with you. You cried on his shoulder because I'm not nice enough. Him, of all people. Wait, Jacopo. You're mistaken. Let me... Silence. Not a word, not a single godforsaken word. The only thing that comes out of your mouth is excuses, lies, and fabrication. You pawned on this sweet, innocent little girl act, but what's really going through your head? Maybe I should rip that mask off your face. Jesus Christ. Stop, Jacopo. You look down on me, your nobility, and I'm just a nobody who married into it. No, stop. Let me go, please. Jesus Christ. When did it start? How long have you been seeing him? Who else have you been seeing? Covering yourself in fashionable perfume and smiling, even though you never smile around me. Please let me go. I can see it in your eyes. He's just a worthless commoner. Why? Why would you think that? Jesus Christ. Why will you not listen to me? Silence. It's all your fault. Every last thing. I tell you not to leave the house, but you do. She didn't, and you're just a dumbass. I tell you to do as I say, but you ignore me. You're a twat, so, you know. Every last thing you do drives me mad. I don't have time right now to deal with this, to rack my mind over you, over a woman. I don't have time for it. Why do you not do as I say? Yeah, well, this is a turn. Do you not have enough already, huh? Will you not be satisfied until you've taken my arms and legs? Jesus Christ, man. Giving you money, clothing, everything. You have an incredible life. Look around you, that life of luxury you and your parents wanted. It's right here, you have it. What more could you possibly want? Why do you insist on being unfaithful? This stupid motherfucker. Unfaithful? You think that what I'm doing is unfaithful to you? How else should I describe it? You leave your room despite my ordering you not to. You dumb motherfucker. Don't think I don't know. When you came to the den the other day, you had your eyes on the other men. No, I didn't. I had no such inclination. Enough, not another. I have no interest in your excuses. That's how you're gonna act. Then say goodbye to your freedom. You've been forbidden from leaving the mansion, or your room for that matter, or even speaking to the servants. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll make you a new room. Too many people come in and out of this one. It'll be somewhere quieter, out of the way. You like the garden? How about I put it out there? If you leave that room without my permission, this time... yeah, okay. He's lost his goddamn mind. Why? Why will you not listen to me? Jacopo, the master of the house, likely loved the white-haired girl. That is what I saw in their exchange. Normally, love is supposed to be a sweet, warm, wonderful emotion. Makes you care for, value that person even more than yourself. But it was the exact opposite for him. I never knew that love could be such a painful thing. How did his love end up so twisted? What do you expect to happen by confining and abusing the woman he loved? Perhaps he was conscious of that. To be human is to sometimes find oneself driven by uncontrollable internal impulses. A few days later, Jacopo dragged the white-haired girl from her chamber and led her outside. The garden she had once loved was now a thing of the past. It had become a dreary space. An area rose on sight, and being taken there did nothing to improve her mood, only sadden her further. Cold gray pipes of metal freckling the barren earth seemed to mock her. Her husband led her, the lady of the house, to a shed that had been repurposed into a Spartan living area. What the fuck? She begged and pleaded, but Jacopo would not have it. He shoved her into the sad little shack and locked the door. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think that's a stopping point. Like, holy fucking shit. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably keep going tomorrow. But yeah, I'm gonna call it because I need to get some stuff done tonight. Jesus Christ. I need to get the fucking soundtrack for this. Like, holy crap. This is genuinely phenomenal. It really is.